With Thin Within, we were encouraged to believe what was the truth that I had never really felt before, that God is totally loving and totally forgiving, that He loves us wherever we are, no matter what mistakes we're making, no matter where we are in our secrecy of overeating or whatever we're doing, that He's there, that He knows, and that He loves us, that He only wants what's good for us, that He only wants what's the best for us. And my concept of God before that had been that He was just waiting for me to mess up. I don't know where that thought came from, and I think that was a lot of my self-hate. It was like, oh my gosh, I've let down God again. I've not only let myself down, but I've let God down. And we talked a lot about that with Thin Within and read a lot about that God is forgiving. He loves us right where He is. He loves me whether I'm 360 pounds, 160, or wherever He's going to deliver me to. And I know that that has been one of the largest things that has really helped me, freed me from the stress, from the distress, from the chaos and the confusion. It was really hard for me when I first started, when somebody would ask me a direct question, how do you feel? What do you think about God? I didn't know. I never let myself think about things like that. I really thought it was wrong to feel that way. And the journey of having learned what He's like, how loving He is, how forgiving He is, that I can go to Him any time in prayer, and that I do, and also learning that it doesn't have to be a formula prayer. My prayers before that time were going to bed at night and praying a formula. Never prayed for forgiveness for the times I felt bad, and I think that was because I didn't truly realize that I was forgiven already. I've been a Christian since I was in my teens and accepted Jesus into my heart then, but I never really accepted the forgiveness. And that's been a big part of the journey, and that's something we talked about in Thin Within, was that God loves us just where we are, and it's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay to stumble, that we need to put our faith in Him. I still struggle with that. I'm a very stubborn person, very, very stubborn person, and it's not ever gotten me anything good. It's gotten me just a lot of hurt in the past, and I still struggle with that. I can't say I'm all the way there yet, but I'm learning that God is someone that I can totally trust, that it's okay with Him that I struggle, and that I can bring all of that to Him. And I firmly believe that the journey that He's taken me on through this is that He's got awesome plans for me, like He has for every one of us. And He's freeing me to be able to do those things that He wants me to do. And that's another difference in my journey with Him and learning what He's like, is that He has plans for me, and that in releasing this extra weight that's held me in bondage, and releasing the clutter that I used to have, my house now, I can open the door and I can let people in, and I can be an encourager, which is what gives me joy. That's one of the gifts that God's given me, is to encourage other people. And I think that's what I would want to say, is that don't ever give up on working this process, because whether it is a fast process for you or whether it's a slow process, God is working in it all the way from the very beginning. And that's why I've been able to hold off the weight gain that has happened before in my life. That's why I can now open my door to people that want to come in and visit me without having to make excuses or meet them on the front porch. That's why I sleep better now. That's why I'm not depressed all the time anymore. I used to struggle with depression in my job. I was so afraid I was going to lose my job, because just right at the time I came to Thin Within, on my lunch break, I would go out and sit in my car for an hour and cry and think, how can I go back in there? And being released from that depression has been another one of the gifts. There are so many gifts. If I was going to write them down, it would take a long time. But my life is so different now than it was then. I have clarity now in places I never did. I don't eat until I'm miserable anymore. I still eat more than I should, but I'm giving that to God, and I'm trusting that He's going to help me to have the faith to start working between 0 and 3, or 3 and 5 on the hunger scale, and not going beyond that. I have not been to a 10 in 10 years, probably. I used to eat to an 11. So I know that He's still working with me, and He's taught me to be patiently enduring while He works with me and while He delivers me to where He wants me to be.